Welcome back. You're watching World Insight with me, Tian Wei, coming to you Monday to Friday on CGTN. He found fame as a basketball superstar, hung up his team jersey after a decade in the NBA, and he went on to become the current president of the Chinese Basketball Association. Yao Ming is the only player outside the U.S. to lead the NBA in All-Star voting. In 2008 Beijing Olympics, he led the Chinese national team, which made it to the basketball quarterfinals. After that, the former NBA pro has grown from being an athlete to becoming an entrepreneur, and now the youngest head of the CBA. 27 years old Yao Ming has devoted himself to the reform of the sport after his retirement. There's life after a long career shooting hoops, and he is on a mission to improve the game in China. The past 1 year, very exciting. As the president of the Chinese Basketball Association, I'm sure there's a lot of takeaway.
It's excited. It's excited is mostly from the challenge from how we improve our basketball, not only in skill level, but also the awareness and also the involvement in the entire society, entire country. It's a lot of work to do, I have to say.
Let's go through some of those works you need to do. First of all, trying to change the system in a way. For example, the game system.
Well, in some way you can call that change, but I would like to say call it involve. That it's based on something system, but we're adding some innovation in there, and we're not trying to dump the system from past and build a new system from the ground. But in fact, we do need to have more people be on board on this basketball ship, from a ship become a vessel, maybe, to make our basketball more competitive in the world level.
People put so much hope on you being the president of a Chinese Basketball Association. They want overnight change. They want everything changed for the better within a short period of time.
I mean, sometimes sports is like educating your kids right there.
Yes.
You have to take a step at a time. But our attitude is like, we have a very clear goal. And I always say that we have a walk with our two legs, both legs, that one side is our game system. Yes, we try to compete in the world level with a much competitor strength, of course. But another leg is that we try to reach the ground and reach more people and have people join us. So just like when we're walking, we always go left, right. But if you're just landing on one side, either side, you're tripled.
When it comes to reaching out to the society, I understand you're trying to push forward more basketball education within the school system. You're also trying to work out some kinds of three-person so-called basketball game so that more people can get involved in the sport.
It's a sport. Three-on-three basketball exists in a society over 30 years. But just lately being elected as an Olympic official game for 2020 Tokyo. That's obviously groundbreaking breaking news for that sport. So we'll take that sport into a different level. 3-on-3 is more flexible, less ground, and less people, and less resource to organize the entire game, and it's fun. It is fun. And imagine a platform that can allow a lot of street ball players. I mean, those guys have a chance walking into the podium of Olympics. It's what kind of dream?
So how are you doing it so far?
I'm just like kindergarten in the 3-on-3 area.
A student there.
Yeah, a kindergarten student in there. But there's many more pro out there. I mean, they may not very well known by the basketball fans, but they are very well known by the street fans. They have passion and they're very knowledgeable about basketball. Right. And like I said before, we need to grab them onto the table, onto the committee, and have them give us an idea and how we work this out.
The other side is how to bring sports, particularly basketball, more into the school system.
I see many kids play basketball in the school. It's just, if we could make it more efficient, more efficient. If we can create more game in the school for kids, imagine that we have a game like NCAA Championship,
yes,
March Madness game in China. Can have those kids to play a little bit more and get everybody's attention on basketball or any other sports. With that kind of a number of talent in the school, we automatically, help and generate our professional system and also our national team, whether boys or girls.
How to bring other people on board too. I mean, especially in the United States, I mean, when you have a lot of competition, you became the competition against the others. You're a competitor against many of them. But how could you bring them eventually on board?
Whether we cooperate or we compete, we all try getting better. So if we clear that goal, we try getting better. Even competitor, we are cooperate together, because without me, you're not better. Without you, I'm not better.
So that's how it's done, and people understand that.
But look, this is obvious in sports. Obviously, how to prove your value as an Olympian, or if you are a gold medal, or any kind of a sports championship title, the value is come from the opponent you defeated. My value actually is come from my opponent. So we have to respect our opponent. If you can respect your opponent, obviously you will respect your colleague, everyone who we work together.
And that is still with you.
I think that's what I learned from sports.
You started as a basketball player that we all knew. Then, of course, you become a club owner. And now you're the head of Chinese Basketball Association. How do you see this transformation yourself? How do you see yourself grow as an individual?
How do you explain grow? I don't know, I'm still growing, so probably I'll never find out.
Do you think you would think about the others much more than you used to be now when you're making any decision?
That's part of my job, actually. That's part of my job, I have to know more and to sense more.
Do you think you're better at communication, at least communication to so many different kinds of people with so many different kinds of interests behind them?
Oh.
Is that something you're thinking about every day?
Well, I just try to be a good listener.
Is it easy to be a good listener?
I enjoy it.
How is it to be a good listener, let's just say being a member of a basketball team? Let's just say when you were playing in NBA, you have to be a good listener in a way, because even there's a language barrier. But on top of that, there's culture, there's many other things. And now you're being a good listener in a new role.
As a former athlete, I think I try to be a better listener, and that's one of my I can say it is one of my weakness, I think, because most of athletes, especially those good athletes, have a great confidence on what they do compared to other professions, and those confidence sometimes will turn into arrogant. Yeah, I try avoid that.
You'll never be an arrogant person, I have to say, because people look at you, whether you played in the United States or eventually coming into the business in China when it comes to basketball, you always appear to be the most patient when it comes to listening to the others.
It's different when we just charting here, compare the attitude we walk on it. It's different. It's always easy to talk, but it's hard to work.
Why are you always challenging yourself? I mean, you could well stay in China, but you wanted to go to the NBA. You could well become a celebrity, but then you want to become a club owner, jumping into the sea in a very different world. You could well be a celebrity plus a business person plus a philanthropist, and yet you want to become a reformer in the Chinese sports scene. Why? I mean, why? Yeah, why?
No, I don't try to be a reformer or something. That's not my dream. It's not like reform is my duty or something. It's just simply that I'm a basketball person. That I try to make basketball better in any power I could. But don't put that title on me, reformer or something. I just try to do my job as a basketball person. Whether the athlete, owner, or now is just staff in the association.
Right. I see your growth almost going parallel with China's rise in a way. Remember, back in the 1990s, China was still one of those countries, developing countries. 20 years from then, we're already the second largest economy. China making a difference in the world. And China is bringing the difference to the world. Mm-hmm. And I just wonder how during that process you yourself also have evolved. Have you noticed this change? What does this change mean to you?
I think we should get into the second stage, that from a quantity purchase to a quality purchase. That obviously we're the second largest economy of the world. But what about the quality? I think that is what we try to do. For example, that we in basketball sometimes we'll say, okay, that team is so good because they have certain number of NBA players, and other team, that's okay, they have less NBA player on the team. So that's the quantity or the quality?
Well said. What do you think?
Depends on who is winning.
Are we far from winning?
We try to shorten the process.
2008 Olympic Games, remember that. I'm sure you remember that dearly. But of course, 10 years later now, China in a very different position. So what is going to be the relationship between sports, basketball included, and the growth of this country?
That is a great question. Have you heard a very famous 3 questions for China, Chinese Olympics?
Okay, what is it?
Over the last 100 years. That's a question actually brought up by Mr. Zhang Boling, who is a very famous educator from Nankai University. He wrote something on a public that this question is that, when Chinese athlete can compete in an Olympic Games, which that be answered by Liu Changchun in 1932 in Los Angeles. He is a 100-meter sprinter. And when China can win a medal for it, that answered by 1984 Xu Haifeng. He won the first gold medal at pistol shooting. And when China can host the Olympics, that answered by entire country in 2008. Now the time we find out the 4th question it is. And without a question, we lost the engine and the power to moving forward. So I think I'm too small to answer that, but that question can be very open for everybody who want to discover it.
What a pleasure to see you once again. Let's work together to find out the answer about the 4th question, can we?
Sure, thank you.
Thank you so much, Yao. All the best.
Thank you.
Yao Ming, certainly an NBA star, but now who has become such an important person in Chinese basketball, who is trying to walk his talk. That is all the time we have for today. If you'd like to see more, try to find us World Inside CGTN into your search engine, or check out our YouTube channel. You can also follow us on Twitter, Facebook, and Sina Weibo. From me, Tian Wei, and everyone on the World Inside team, thanks for watching, and tune in again next time for insights across China and around the world.